Yeah, 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 come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 288 shopping days left until Christmas, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies, TV shows, and all fun things holiday-related all year round. My name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight is my co-host, Mr. Bradford. Bradford, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. It's good to be here yet again.
I know, we didn't mean to skip February. It just kind of happened. So I'm going to call this a do-over on the year. So
Usually it's the day got away from us, but the month got away from us.
Yeah, it's, call it seasonal depression, call it what you want. It's just, these things happen. And so we're back once again with another episode of a podcast where we talk about a crappy Christmas movie that we watched out of season for no good reason.
That rhymed. That's pretty nice. Out of season for no good reason.
You know what? That should be our tagline. And I hate that it took us 12 years to get there.
Hey, who says we're
how have you
of
been?
How
have you been, Mr. Bradford?
I've been doing pretty well. I haven't had to watch bad movies for a while, so that was nice. I watched good movies actually. I went and saw Nirvana the band, the show, the movie in theaters 2 days before its actual opening, which was a treat.
I'm jealous, but I did get to see it 4 days after its actual opening, so no problem there.
It was a very good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was delightful.
I'm a little biased, and I've been waiting actual years for it to come out, but it's really good.
You were like one of the OG super fans of that whole project, weren't you?
I can't claim to be an OG super fan. I didn't come on like during the web series, which is like ancient history. I watched it during like the Vice, the actual like TV series.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're the one who turned like our entire friend group onto this.
Pretty much. Yes.
Yeah. You're the reason that our Discord channel has posted the update day video without fail every Tuesday night for the past decade.
I actually turned that off after the movie came out. I felt it was time to retire it.
Oh, well, I miss it and I don't, because I've also just started seeing it Tuesday nights on Instagram as I doom scroll my reels. It'll just show up Tuesday nights.
Okay.
So,
I'm glad somebody is putting it in there.
We'll always have update day.
We will always have update day. I felt it was time to give it a rest for a while, because I think it had how many years had that bot been posting update day at 11:15?
You would know better than I, buddy.
Probably at least 5 years, I want to say.
For the last year or so, every time it's been posted, I will just kind of lean over and make Nikki watch it again, and she's gotten so sick of it. But then it paid off, because like 3 or 4 months ago, she was at work, and one of her coworkers just started humming it out loud, and she told me she turned to him and was like, "How do you know that song?"
Wait, like the Wii Shopping Channel song, or specifically Update Day?
Specifically Update Day. Like he was singing the titles. And she was like, "How do you know that song?" And apparently he said, "How do you know that song?"
I like it.
Oh boy. Great movie. When it hits streaming, everybody should go see it. It's great. It's fantastic.
It is a
load of fun.
Yeah.
And more recently, I would like to say, I got to see the new Pixar movie Hoppers recently, which I know Pixar is in a little bit of hot water for some dumb things that the head of content has said lately. Hoppers should not be subjected to boycotts for that, because it's also a treat.
Okay. Very nice.
It was directed by the creator of the Cartoon Network series We Bare Bears.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of has that sort of cozy, comfy sort of vibe, but also wildly chaotic. And I'm here for that shit.
Okay, I'll have to check it out, maybe.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Cool.
I'll say this: I enjoyed it more than I assume I'm going to enjoy Toy Story 5.
Oh, for sure, right?
And I hate the fact that I have to like say that, But I'm over Buzz and Woody at this point in my life.
They've had two really good chances to bow out, and yet here they are yet again.
Exactly. Yeah. Like let the younger crew have their turn.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
And someday we're going to have to say that about ourselves. But you know what? Let's not worry about that right now because we have our own shit to deal with tonight.
Yes, we do. I think first up, can check.
Oh, you know it.
I'll buy it at a high price.
Oh, that hits the spot.
What are you working with?
Not drinking alcohol tonight. I've got a Poppy Cranberry Fizz soda.
Nice. Was that a seasonal release for the Holotide season?
It was, and I bought a giant case of it, so I'm burning through the leftovers right now. But it's delightful. I like a good cranberry soda.
Oh, you're my favorite holiday gift item.
That's right.
What's the line from Ghostbusters?
Oh, baby! Oh, you're my number one Christmas boutique gift item.
I have something that I took a sip of, and I'm definitely gonna enjoy.
What's that?
I have a Hardywood dark chocolate peanut butter porter.
Ooh,
that is an imperial porter with real peanut butter and natural flavors. Oh,
that does sound delightful.
I've had these peanut butter chocolate porters before, but this one is a lot of times they end up being too sickly sweet. But I think this nails it because of the dark chocolate. So it's actually like it's got a little bit of bitterness to complement the chocolate and the nut, and
like a fuller kind of deep under kind of taste to it.
Yeah,
I can see that. Nice.
That is delicious.
Excellent. Bradford's going to have a wonderful time tonight because I'm going to take him through just an absolute piece of madness we discovered.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I
kind of liked it.
Listen, we're gonna have to couch this like where this movie sits in sort of relation to like everything. And I will start by saying this: I'm here for it. However,
there are some things. Like, don't get me wrong. There are definitely some things.
So like if you're listening to the podcast, you already know the title of the show. We were discussing the 1998 TV movie Ebenezer, which was produced for TNT, Turner Network Television. Stars Jack Palance as Ebenezer Scrooge and is an Old West interpretation of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And
I think I kept forgetting while I was watching this that this was made and released in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Because it very much feels like something that should have come out much earlier than it. For reasons.
It does not have any kind of late 90s feel to it at all. It definitely feels like something that was produced
in the 80s
ages ago.
Maybe even late 70s. Like
yeah.
Because
a lot of westerns from 30, 40 years ago just have that kind of feel, but also the fact that it was produced for television means it is a little bit cheaper than it should be, and it looks it too.
It's a little. Some of the visual effects are a little rough around the edges.
Some of the costumes are rough around the edges. What are you talking?
Yeah, that's true too.
But we'll get to all of that in due time. But first, I want to sort of situate like what this is real quick because I think this kind of stuff is interesting. This is a movie from an era of television that really doesn't exist anymore. Because, this premiered on TNT November 25th, 1998. For record, this was produced a year before TNT also produced an honest-to-God real version of A Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart, which is one that most people like generally kind of regard as one of the better versions.
Okay.
But the year before that, we got this. So for like the uninitiated, because we live in the far-flung future where no one watches TV anymore, and the young kids don't know what cable television is. TNT was big back in the day when people still watched cable.
It was kind of like AMC before AMC, right?
Yeah. It was like part of the big like Turner Broadcasting, like the Ted Turner family of cable networks, because media mogul billionaire Ted Turner decided, I want to make a bunch of TV channels just for fun, and one of them was TNT. Then there was TBS, Cartoon Network, Turner Classic. CNN was kind of in that mix as well, and CNN is like the one kind of linchpin holding, I guess, apparently the entire universe together right now, because everyone's fighting over it.
Everyone's fighting over it to see how quickly they can turn it into a right-wing rag.
Exactly.
That literally nobody is going to watch then. It's just going to be completely unwatchable.
Well, no one's watching it now. I don't know what they think they're going to do with it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, other than like olds who are in the habit of watching it, like nobody's going to be converted into a CNN watcher through this, and nobody's going to I don't know. Yeah. Like, I'm convinced most of the viewership of CNN is airport terminals and dentist offices.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Right.
Like the brand is kind of what matters, and not necessarily the content.
Correct. That's true.
But yeah. So, like I said, TNT and TBS, they were big in the 90s and 2000s. But anyway, TNT, TBS, that whole kind of family of channels, they regularly produced and aired TV movies. That was like their bread and butter, right alongside like NBA basketball, westerns, biopics, Bible stories. They just did a whole truckload of just TV movies about everything. And a few Christmas movies kind of got snuck into the mix there too, including this one, as well as I just have to mention this or else we're never going to talk about it. The 1992 remake of Christmas in Connecticut was a TNT TV movie, and I'm only saying that because it is the one and only feature film directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. And so, yeah, if we ever do cover that on the podcast, that is specifically why. But anyway, Ebenezer. This, like we kind of mentioned, this is an Old West version of A Christmas Carol. And yes, I know we just did a podcast about A Christmas Carol in January, but you know what? This season is all about do-overs and repeats, and it's never too late, as they say in Scrooged. So you know what? Why not? Let's just do it again, right?
Yeah, we did it all in one night.
Of course we can. We can do anything. It's our podcast.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Oh boy. So yeah, this is a movie where Jack Palance also. Oh yeah. Jack Palance is an Oscar winner, and this episode is basically our Oscar special because this is going to come out 2 days after the Oscars.
There you
congratulations to... Oh, yeah, we're going to have to throw a guess out as to what wins Best Picture now, aren't we?
What is even on the table for Best Picture? And have I seen... Here, I want you to look at the list and then guess whether I've seen a single one of these movies.
All right, let me bring that up right quick.
The only one that I can even think of with my two brain cells that I have to rub together right now is I'm guessing One Battle After Another maybe is on the list.
Yeah,
that's the way.
That's the one that I think is going to win it, but we never know. So congratulations to One Battle After Another, and we're going to see if I eat crow.
Okay.
So
what else?
We are now officially in wasting time mode because we don't want to talk about this movie. Here's the list: the 10 Best Picture nominees. We have Begonia, which is the remake of a Korean sci-fi movie, called Save the Green Planet, which is great.
Oh,
F1,
I didn't know that was a remake.
Yeah, Save the Green Planet got remade as Begonia.
I had no idea.
Yep.
All right.
F1, the movie, as in Formula One Racing, the movie, starring Brad Pitt. I don't know why. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Okay, sure.
That was the horny Frankenstein, right?
That was Horny Frankenstein, which is legally distinct from the Horny Frankenstein that is currently in theaters right now as we record this.
Exactly. Go on.
Then there's Hamnet, which is a from what I can tell, a dramatization of why Shakespeare wrote Hamlet.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. There's Marty Supreme, which is the Timothée Chalamet ping pong movie.
The only thing that I can think of when I see the movie poster for Marty Supreme is the Super Mario Brothers movie poster with the two of them standing, making the M.
Yeah.
The old one. You know what I'm talking about. The real one. Anyways.
You know, Marty Supreme, the poster for Marty Supreme should have the tagline, "This ain't no game."
It would work.
It would work. Okay, so then you've got One Battle After Another.
Okay.
The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, two films I know absolutely nothing about.
Okay.
And then you've got Sinners, which is kind of the other sort of lead dog in this fight, I think.
Right.
And then Train Dreams.
Okay.
Yeah, like Sinners and One Battle After Another. It's gonna be one of those two. I'm fairly confident saying.
Have not seen a single one of those films. I mean, I'd like to. I would have liked to see Sinners when it was in theaters. I heard really good things. I would have gone to see Marty Supreme if I was like had nothing better to do. But anyways, yeah.
Like 3 or 4 of these, I definitely did just see because it's already on Netflix. Why not? Like Frankenstein is a Netflix movie, you know?
Right. And I think F1 was an Apple TV joint, if I recall.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a week where like we were just kind of convalescing at the house with a bad cold, and we wound up watching 3 or 4 of these in a row.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh.
But you know, like I said, congratulations, One Battle After Another. We'll see how that plays out. If you're listening to this podcast on the Tuesday after the Oscars, you know how dumb I sound right now. But anyway,
yes.
What were we talking about? Oh, right, Ebenezer,
because Palance is an Oscar winner.
Jack Palance won an Oscar for his role in City Slickers
as Curly,
best supporting actor. Curly, yeah. See, Brad knows some stuff.
I know a thing or two because I read his Wikipedia article last night.
Brad, you could have lied to me and said you had seen City Slickers, and I would have believed you.
Anyhow, moving on.
Okay, so the thing to know about Ebenezer, Bradford, though, your first impressions. I have been talking too much.
My first impressions? I mean, it's a made for TV and movie, my man. It's definitely budget. I went in not expecting to like this, and I actually kind of I thought it was all right. Like I had mentioned. I think that there are times and places that work especially well with a Christmas Carol formula, right? Times of great sort of socioeconomic inequality. You have Victorian London, you have the Gilded Age, you have the current time, I guess you could say. You have like the 80s, big business Coke Reaganomics era, and then you have the Wild West also really works well for this because Scrooge at its core is a story about greed, right?
True.
Scrooge's Scrooge's pursuit of money is what his bitterness towards how his life has been, but also his pursuit of material goods and money is sort of what drives him as a character before his redemption arc. And so you could make it in any era, but it works especially well in eras where you have very strong haves and have-nots. And I think
that's
it applies
a very astute observation.
I think it applies really well to like this Wild West formula where you have destitute homesteaders, you have people trying to moving west, trying to strike it rich, and doing whatever scrabbling for whatever scraps they can, in sort of this lawless or this lawless time, this lawless area. I think it's really interesting what they did, that they turned this Scrooge into a cheat. Now, in other interpretations, he is a miser, but he's not necessarily not playing fair. He's just being an asshole. But in this, he's both an asshole and like literally a crook, which I think...
Right, yeah, because the original Scrooge was essentially like a moneylender and a landlord, right?
Right, yes, yeah. He was morally bankrupt, but still within the letter of the law, right? He was lawful evil. But this Ebenezer Scrooge is like he's chaotic evil, right?
Yes, very much so.
So we're introduced to him. He owns a saloon that spoiler alert, that he stole. And he essentially is running it as a gaming parlor in which he sits at a table and cheats people out of their property. And we are introduced to Sam, I think.
Sam Benson, yeah.
Who is, I think, an original character. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah, he's played by Rick Schroder, who, people older than us know him from Silver Spoons. People even older than us know him because he's a big, right-wing crank nowadays.
Oh,
but,
is he?
Yeah, he. Sam Benson.
I'm glad I didn't pay any
begin
money
with.
for this movie.
To reference Charles Dickens, Sam Benson sucks to begin with. Just as a character, he's the worst.
Yeah.
But he's introduced playing against Scrooge in a game of poker, and he winds up losing the homestead, the family farm, in his final hand, and not to mention his horse as well, because Scrooge is a cheat, as we've said, and he has his poker table set up to let him kind of sneak cards from under the table.
Not very convincingly, I might add.
Not at all convincingly, but also, like, what are you going to do? Tell an old man he's cheating at poker?
Yeah, we see how that ended up. So, yeah, he cheats Sam out of both his money, his land, and his horse, which is a bad thing because Sam basically just proposed to his fiancée, and now they don't have anything.
Right. And it should be noted, his fiancée is the daughter of Scrooge's dead business partner, Jacob Marlowe. Not Marley.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is an adaptation, you see. We have to change some names around.
It's Marlowe, not Marley, because Marlowe is a more, intensely American name.
Right.
But the bar, as we find out, the tavern, should have gone to her, but Scrooge stole it and just decided not to tell her about it in the will.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we've kind of established the main sort of personas other than our ghosts.
Right. And also we should point out the Cratchit family, their involvement in this. Bob Cratchit runs the tavern that Scrooge owns.
Right. He's like the barkeep, the bookie.
He
basically actually runs the place.
There's a hilarious little scene where Scrooge chases Sam out of the saloon, and it's raining and it's muddy out, and he's like Bob Cratchit, give me your boot to throw at Sam, and he's like, but it's muddy out, my feet are gonna get wet.
Yeah,
that's how much of a shit Scrooge is.
He's the worst. And I think we have the town. I think the town is Deadwood, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. It's mentioned that Scrooge goes to Deadwood at some point, but I don't know if this is Deadwood or not.
Right. During our past scenes, Scrooge kind of moves from place to place. For a time, he goes up to Canada in search of gold. I don't know if this is supposed to take place in Canada in Deadwood. This is a Canadian production, by the way.
Yes, it is. So that it would make sense. Sure.
But I feel like the amount of snow on the ground for December, I'm not up on how much it snows in the Canadian Great Plains.
True.
Maybe one of our listeners can tell us. I'm uninformed. Anyways, it's somewhere in the West during winter. Anyhow.
Yes.
Some snow on the ground, but being like a frontier town, it's just like the main drag through town is just a giant shitty pile of mud everywhere. Anyways,
basically.
Where were we? There's an opera house. There is a brothel. There is an inn, and there is a saloon, and there are a number of general stores. That's about the extent of the town.
This is your average run of the mill Old West mining town, basically.
Yes. Okay.
And yeah, And also, one last character to introduce, I guess, is Scrooge's nephew, Fred, who in this version is apparently the town sheriff.
Yeah. His costume is so weird. He's wearing like a pillbox hat. He looks more like a lobby attendant for a hotel than a sheriff.
Yes. For reasons unknown, he is dressed like a hotel bellboy.
I don't know if it's like supposed to be for the Christmas pageant, and it like I don't.
But he wears it
his
throughout
costume.
the entire film.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I don't get it.
He keeps showing up in it. I don't know. It made me laugh every time he showed up with the hat on.
It's a little much.
It is. So
the costumes in this production they're there.
Like it's a little chintzy and a little cheap. And if I'm being honest, like Westerns are like the one genre where you can kind of get away with that and still look relatively sort of true to life, because I'm sure, convincing, because I'm sure a lot of like Old West, kind of people had pretty bad clothing and things did not look great back then. So like I'm fine with it. But then you have Fred looking like he fell out of like a 1930s Hollywood, hotel.
It's
very
really
silly.
odd. Every time he was on screen, I don't either. I don't understand it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So before Scrooge goes home for the night, we get a very special segment where Scrooge visits a brothel.
Yeah, he does.
And I have to say, this is the one and only adaptation of A Christmas Carol where I have seen Ebenezer Scrooge visit a brothel. Not even necessarily to, take part in their wares, as it were, but just because, like, he just goes there for a meal. And then
he just goes
home.
to eat he just goes to eat half of a turkey and then go home. It's very, like, I get why they did it, because what's her name? What's Marlowe's daughter's name? What?
I did not catch it. It's Sam's wife. Her name is Erica.
Erica's working there as like cleaning / the maid / the cook, I guess. It's never really elaborated upon, other than the fact that she is not a person of the night. She's not a sex worker.
But she also made mention that like her financial situation, she is basically one step away from joining the leather ladies at the brothel.
Yes, exactly. They make mention of this several times, that basically if Scrooge has his druthers and the homestead is sold and everything like that, and that family is destitute, she will essentially have to resort to that. I guess the term would be working girl is the one that they used. I guess that's a pretty good euphemism for it.
Yeah, that's good enough for cable TV, right?
Right. Okay, where were we?
So Scrooge goes home, and he's visited by Marlowe.
He drinks a lot, which I guess is very like Old Westy.
Sure.
This Scrooge is built a little bit different. Right?
Yeah, I mean this Scrooge is a bastard top to bottom, so sure, why not?
I don't know.
Yeah, he goes home. Sorry.
I don't know why, but I always got the vibe that Scrooge was a teetotaler in like the other versions.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
Because you see, alcohol is a waste of money, and it, we don't want to waste too much money on things like that when we could be saving that money.
Yes, it's frivolity. It's like frivolity, like
I got that vibe. I got that
waste.
vibe from Scrooge. Yes. Anyways,
but when you're Scrooge in the Old West, it's kind of a win in Rome situation. Why not?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially when you can just cheat people and get more money.
That's true.
What's a nickel for a bottle of wine? No, he's drinking whiskey. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes home. He sees the picture of Jacob Marlowe sitting on the nightstand there, and he takes that picture and just throws it straight into the fire.
I think he does that in his little office before he goes home, but yes.
Oh, he does. He does, yes. But yeah, he gets drunk and he sees the vision of Jacob Marlowe, who tells him, he's going to be visited by the three spirits. And then you kind of know how the story is going to go from here. But at this point, it's all the little, like, the ways they twist this into a Western that are interesting to us.
Yeah.
Right?
It was interesting the way that they interpreted Marlowe. I know he's not really supposed to be the comedic ghostly figure. That's usually past, if I'm not mistaken.
I've always seen that as present, because present is all about sort of the joy of the present, you know.
Yeah, they definitely
That's
didn't
the
go
way
with
I've
that
always
direction
interpreted it.
on this one.
Lord, no.
Yeah, I don't know. They played up Marlowe as almost like a clown for part of it, other than his
For a little
warning.
bit, yeah.
I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know.
Marlowe shows up. He gives this classic warning.
Right.
Scrooge, being Scrooge, does not take it seriously.
Absolutely not. But then the first ghost shows up, and Bradford, I don't know how to feel about this. The ghost of Christmas Past is a Native American woman.
It is a Native woman wearing,
who Scrooge immediately calls Pocahontas.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not good. He just said, but there are a number of these sort of things throughout his interaction with her that are not super great.
Yeah. But they try to soft pedal it too, like they know that what they're doing is kind of cringy, but they're trying to play it off. It's like, yeah, we know, but like, just go with us for a minute, because he calls her Pocahontas, and her first response is like, no, not me, but I've met her and she's nice. Okay, I guess
it's not great, is it? It's
no.
It's very much like that 90s like soft. If you'll excuse the term, like soft racism. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like
that was so prevalent in media in the 90s. You and I grew up inundated with that sort of thing, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, where it would not be considered appropriate in this day and age, and it wasn't like it shouldn't have been done back then, but they did it, and it was like the PG version of it, but it still is unacceptable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, God, I'm trying to think of a better example of this, but then like there's little interactions between Scrooge and Christmas Past here where like I wrote a couple of them down, because one of them, King of the Hill, literally stole this joke.
Okay,
and I know it because, and I'll tell you the King of the Hill joke. It's the Thanksgiving episode of King of the Hill. Okay. No, it's the Thanksgiving episode of King of the Hill, and John Redcorn shows up, and Peggy says, "John Redcorn, I didn't know your people celebrated Thanksgiving," and he says, "We did once." And
okay, that's pretty funny.
And in this one, like Scrooge says to Christmas Past, "I didn't know your people celebrated Christmas," and she goes, "Well, we didn't call it Christmas."
Yeah,
like they have their winter holiday, and now the white people have come in and taken over and ruined everything, as we do. But every little chance they get, they kind of needle that stuff in there. And I read a review on Letterboxd who pointed out that this character is literally in this movie just so that Jack Palance can say, "Put that in your peace pipe and smoke it."
Yep, there's the line.
That's the line.
There's the line. Anyways,
but,
where were we?
Yeah, so then at this point, it really is it's the story exactly as you know it. She shows him, his family Christmas. His father has apparently sold him out to, he sells him out to work at Fezziwig's, right?
He was going to a boarding school. His father made some bad investments and is financially ruined. I think they like imply that he like finished his schooling in like a lesser sort of like, a lesser school, maybe not a boarding school, and then, or like a less prestigious one, and then went to work at Fezziwig's as like, a clerical assistant / shopkeep. Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so we get our first robbery. Scrooge hears about gold out west, and so he empties the till and takes what he was supposed to deposit in the bank, and like intentionally leaves a note that he's gonna pay it back on a drafty day where he feels like there's a pretty good chance it's going to get blown away.
And of course it does.
And then gets out of town and starts drifting, as one does.
Mm-hmm. And young Scrooge arrives in Deadwood.
I don't know if it's Deadwood yet. He ends up in a town, right? Where he meets his wife.
He's on his way to Deadwood. Like, that's kind of where he's headed. He meets his wife, and he kind of takes over his wife's family farm and turns it around for a gain. I think they say he sells off the cattle because the cattle turn out to be not a very good quality, right?
Well, I think
something.
What happened is there's like the cowherd shows him like one dead cattle, and it's clear that it's going to wipe out the whole herd, and so he does like a fire sale to some dude and doesn't let him know that basically all of them are diseased and are all going to die soon, and then gets out of Dodge again, and then just leaves his father-in-law in the house essentially to die, while he and his wife move to Canada to seek more gold. Right.
Even more gold. And this is where we get the line. He says, "People may let you down, but money never does. Put that in your peace pipe and smoke it."
Right.
Yeesh. And I have to say, at this point, it occurred to me, like, we have been spending a lot of time with this ghost. We spend 20 minutes of this 90-minute film with the Ghost of Christmas Past.
It's mostly the ghost. Yeah, it's mostly the Ghost of Christmas Past, because they really flesh out this Scrooge's backstory.
Right, because this is a different Scrooge, so we have to kind of establish that he's been a cheat his entire life, essentially.
Right. Yes. Morally bankrupt.
Morally bankrupt, indeed. So, and then, while Scrooge is having his epiphanies, Sam Benson goes back to the saloon, does a little bit of detective work, and discovers that Scrooge has been cheating with the playing cards under the table and all that. So he sets out this plan of getting back at Scrooge.
Yes, because we go to the present, and Sam calls him out onto the balcony late at night and challenges him to a duel the next day at high noon, as one does. At high noon.
Because this is a Western.
Which I thought is a clever little twist on the whole thing, right? We also come to find out that Sam has very poor vision. So it's basically a death sentence for him. He
does not know this yet. Yeah.
He doesn't know this yet. But he will soon come to find it out, because the Ghost of Christmas Present is now in effect. He's the cop that stole his wife away, right?
Is that who it is?
Well, his wife leaves him for like a Mountie in Canada, and I thought it was supposed to be I didn't know if it was supposed to be the Mountie or it was a Mountie, but it's a Mountie, right?
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. I did not put those two items together in my head, but now that you say it, that makes so much sense.
Because he was grousing. He was like, "You're here to steal my wife and now rub whatever in my face," or something like that.
Yes, that's absolutely it. So the Ghost of Christmas Present is here. It's as a Canadian Mountie.
Yeah. And they
further proof that this was absolutely made in Canada.
There's also one line when they're in Canada where Scrooge is just sitting there and goes, "I love Canada." It's like, yep, okay, they're.
Is that part of that like Canadian mandate to have like pro-Canadian content in X amount of their programming?
Maybe they got like a slight tax write-off or like a grant if they threw in a couple.
They got $20 written off of this film.
They got $20 Canadian for putting that line in the movie. And
10 toonies, okay?
Where were we? That could buy you a couple Aero bars. Where were we? Have you ever had an Aero bar?
No, I haven't. I have not.
Pretty good. Have you ever had a coffee crisp?
Yes, I have. Okay. Is it kind of like
that? No, coffee crisp is a completely separate Canadian candy. Aero bars, they're chocolate bars, but then they put a bunch of air bubbles in the chocolate.
Oh, so I have seen those. I've never had one though.
The mint ones are the mint chocolate ones are pretty good.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, it's an interesting texture. Like, it's still just chocolate at the end of the day, but not bad. Anyways,
Kind of like aerated chocolate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like chocolate
so,
foam in the middle. Where were we?
Right. So then they go to see the Cratchits.
Yeah.
And we see Tiny Tim, who has whittled his dad a figurine of the two of them for Christmas, which is adorable.
Yay.
And, you know,
we get up to the usual Cratchit business. It's all very wholesome.
Basically. Yeah, Bob Bob tries to do a toast for Scrooge. His wife's not having it.
Tiny Tim's fully in the tank for Scrooge for God knows why.
He loves Scrooge. It makes no sense. He just loves that cheating, gambling old man.
Kids are really bad judges of character, let me tell you. Where were we?
Yeah, I'm sure. But then the ghost says to Scrooge, come next Christmas, that boy might well be a ghost himself. That is, unless somehow they can send him back east to a city hospital. And at that point in my head, I'm thinking,
nudge.
At that point, I'm thinking, well, if that's what they do, that kid's gonna die on that trip because that's a long way on horseback.
Yeah, I
that's
mean, I
not
imagine
be
you
good
could
for
get
Tiny
to
Tim.
You could get to a train station, maybe a week ride.
Maybe.
I don't know. Depends.
Maybe. Depends on how fast that horse goes.
Yeah.
They go to visit Fred and his fiancée at their party. The usual shenanigans are afoot. Scrooge falls out of bed at 3 a.m. just in time to see the third ghost, which is pretty much just, a black hood, no face, specter of death. It's the ghost of Christmas Future. There's really no frills about this one.
You know the drill.
You know the drill. Except this time, because we know what's going to happen, Benson has challenged Scrooge to a duel. We see the duel. Because
we don't get the usual gravestone business. We get the duel, which I thought was interesting.
It's an interesting little twist because, as we discover, Sam misses in the duel and Scrooge murders him dead.
Yeah.
Which is a wild turn of events. And then Sam's wife later cusses Scrooge out at the tavern. He takes a tumble over the railing off the second floor and dies lying on the floor.
Yep. It's a railing kill.
And it's a railing kill. Yep. Got him clean.
Yeah.
And then at that exact moment, Bob Cratchit runs through town with Tiny Tim because, oh no, he's dying too. And with Scrooge's dying breath, he says the word hogwash because that's this movie's version of humbug.
Humbug.
Because it's the West.
Yes.
So Christmas Day comes. And Benson is still determined to shoot Scrooge in the street. Scrooge, now knowing that he's going to miss this shot, decides to not take his shot and instead walks straight up to Sam Benson, who still has a gun in his hand. This was a very impressive gambit on Scrooge's part.
Who did try to fire at Scrooge. By the way, very irresponsible of redeemed Scrooge, because that bullet could have very well hit anybody else in the crowd.
Well, he's only redeemed by so much, okay?
I imagine people in the
his
West
own soul.
Yeah. Maybe people in the West
still does
knew
not
well
give
enough.
two licks about anybody else.
Yeah. Hopefully people in the West knew well enough not to stand down range of a duel, I suppose. Anyways.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why people stand off to the side and not, fore and aft, I guess.
Yes.
In the back,
I suppose
exactly.
So. All right. Where were we? Yeah, Sam misses his shot. Scrooge walks up.
Apologizes. Gives him the land back.
Everybody's freaking out because I guess the rules of a duel, like a one bullet duel, is Scrooge could just basically if Sam missed his shot, Scrooge is free to just walk up and execution style shoot him, I guess.
Just put it right in his mouth if he wanted to, yeah.
I suppose. But no, he gives him back everything.
But the thing is, Jack Palance is kind of one of those old Western actors who, when Scrooge has that turn and you see the smile on his face, you kind of don't trust him because he looks like he wants to kill you anyway.
Still, yes. yeah, a
it's
little
not
bit
convincing.
No.
But yeah, he makes amends with Sam. He makes amends with Erica. Explains to Erica that the tavern technically belongs to them. gives
so
them...
they get the tavern, too, yep.
They get the tavern, too, yeah, so good for them. And then he, gives Bob Cratchit... I guess he gives him a raise, even though technically that's now Sam's job. But
I was a little confused. I was a little confused with that too. He hired Sam back on and gave him a raise, but now that's technically Erica's problem. That's technically her purview. I don't know.
I don't think Erica would have had any problem with that because she's a nice person as opposed to her fake uncle, I guess.
Yeah,
but then,
a little presumptive of Scrooge though. But anyways.
And then Scrooge offers to ship Tiny Tim off to a hospital in Philadelphia. Again, which may not work out for Tiny Tim because this is the Old West we're talking about.
Well, they don't necessarily take him up on it. He's just like, yeah, think about it. Anyways.
If you want to. So now the onus is on Bob Cratchit to say yes, putting that on him.
If I were Bob Cratchit, I would think twice about that. I would need to see... I would need to make sure that this sticks and is not just like a one-day thing for Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah, give him a week and give it after a week.
Give it a week is what I say. Anyhow,
if he's back to cheating at poker by Saturday, you've done goofed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the movie's not over.
It's not.
There's one more scene to play out.
It's an odd scene.
It's the town Christmas pageant.
Yeah.
It's an odd scene. It's the town Christmas pageant. And Scrooge rides into the pageant on horseback dressed as Santa Claus to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and God bless us, everyone.
The thing that gets me about this scene is everybody starts booing him. And it's like, this is a tiny town with like 20 plus, like 30 people, right?
Right.
And everybody was at the duel. Like, clearly they know that Scrooge, word would have gotten around that Scrooge is not an asshole anymore, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that...
Maybe it takes people a little bit of time to get over stuff like that, give them...
probably. Yeah, I guess.
But even as he's coming in and they boo him, and then he, does his little speech and says, God blesses everyone, it cuts to the crowd, and no one's quite sure what to make of this scene. Is he serious right now?
It's like, is this guy for real? Is he having a joke? Is this a prank? Grok, is this true?
This is the one version of A Christmas Carol where it's conceivable that the entire town is left at the end of the story, not sure whether or not Scrooge is planning to murder them or not. Because you just can't tell with this guy.
Yeah, or it's gonna or the conceivable end. Did you hear about that one? There was some, I don't know if, I forget where it was. I need to look this up. There was this one town, I think it was in the Old West, where there's just this one guy in the community. This was back in the 1800s. And he was just an absolute complete bastard to everybody. Basically like Scrooge was being. And he gets straight up murdered. And then basically everybody in the town agrees not to narc out what happened. And they're just like, yeah, F that dude. And they just all collectively agreed to murder this complete asshole and just get them out of their lives.
I vaguely recall this. I think you've told this story on the podcast before.
I think I have, but it still applies here.
No,
it's
a very real if anybody deserved that treatment in the Old West, it would be Ebenezer Scrooge. Come on.
Right. Exactly. Everybody except for maybe the matron of the brothel who clearly wants to jump his bones.
Sure.
Basically wants nothing to do with the guy.
Right.
So, anyway.
Except for the two people who are actually making money off of him, everybody else hates his guts.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Well,
but that's the end of... Oh, and Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim, who is a pure soul who loves everybody.
Yes.
God bless Spirit of the Lord, this kid.
Everybody.
Every year now, we kind of watch a Muppet Christmas Carol once or twice nowadays. And there's one thing that always kind of bugs me about it, and it's that at the end, Tiny Tim doesn't say, God bless us, everyone. It's Scrooge. And I'm like, you don't get to say that. Tiny Tim gets to say that.
Robin gets to say that.
Robin gets to say that, not you, Michael Caine. We don't care about what you have to say.
Maybe it was in his contract.
Maybe to give Michael Caine the last line of the movie or something like that.
Well,
Who
he
knows?
should be glad. He already got to cheese the Mises. He should be glad for that.
The Mises have been cheesed, and all is right with the world. Okay.
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, that's Ebenezer. If you want to watch this little bit of madness we just discussed, it's on YouTube. I will put the link to it in the show notes. So now we can rate this movie on our XY axis, the crankometer, and we'll tell you exactly what we thought about it. So, friends, the crankometer is our patented XY axis for rating Christmas movies. The X axis, the bottom, the horizontal, is how Christmassy a film is, and the Y axis, the longitudinal, I guess, is how good the film is. So, Bradford, X axis, how Christmassy is Ebenezer?
Kinda Christmassy.
Kinda.
Not really. The old westiness of it, kind of like I'm not supposed to know what Christmas was like in the Old West. I wasn't around. Did they do it up?
I'm not asking you to be our anthropologist for the Old West and Christmas here. I'm just how Christmassy was this movie?
Not really.
And my answer was not really. By virtue of it being a Christmas carol, a little bit, but you get some Christmas carolers singing, which this again. I've never seen a Western feature Christmas carolers. This is a new concept to me.
Can we talk about the fact that the score for this movie? What was it? I think it was "Oh Holy Night." There's this one song where it does the first 3 bars of it, and then it swerves off of it, and it bothers me every time it happened. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I that occurred to me. Just it's almost like they were trying to have their own sort of Christmas carol theme, but work in all these other Christmas songs, and it just never sounded right.
It didn't land.
It never ever sounded right.
Yeah, I like a 1, maybe a 0 even.
I'm gonna give this a 0 because just the sheer fact of doing a Christmas carol does not award you points, brownie points here. You have to put that extra effort in to make this Christmassy, and I don't know that this movie did that.
Yeah,
you got Jack Palance in there as an Old West Santa Claus. That's something, but yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Here's the thing too, right? It's the Old West and it's Christmas, and those two things feel kind of, at least in my mental map, diametrically opposed to one another a little bit.
Yeah,
I here's the thing. I think that it tried to lean too much into modern trappings of Christmas. There's garlands on the railings in certain businesses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the brothel, they're decorating a Christmas tree and stuff like that, and then the Christmas pageant. But it's when I think of an Old West Christmas, I think of you used to read Little House on the Prairie, where somebody gets an orange in a sock, and that's Christmas, right? That's
yeah.
It I don't know. Again, I'm not a huge history buff, but I feel maybe Christmas on the frontier was a little more destitute than the way it was portrayed in this movie. They were trying to lean a little too hard into modern Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. And to your point, the Old West as a historical time period is not that far removed from the era when Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol to begin with.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of Christmas that you conceivably could identifiably to us Christmassy that you could put into a movie like this. But
I think what I'm saying is if they want to have a 1-horse dirt mud pile town, the fact that they're decorating everything up for Christmas feels a little bit they want to. I don't know. They're trying to have.
No,
I know what you're saying. They need to go a little more grim dark with it, and you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, not necessarily even putting putting a a Christmas tree in the town square or something, where it's just like a dead tree with a couple of candles on it. Like that's almost
no. I'm not saying that thing, but just like a lack of Christmas would be more believable than like what we were getting in this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, like just the fact that there were carolers walking around the town was already kind of like a little bit of a artistic
stretch.
License. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's a little bit of a stretch, right?
So, and like I'm looking right now on Google. Like I just typed in the phrase Christmas Westerns, and the Google's I gotta turn this off. Google's like AI overview. This lists a bunch of movies that take place in the Old West, but like every one of them, it just says, this is a winter themed Western. Like that's not what I asked you for. I don't care if The Hateful Eight has snow in it. Okay, I want to know if The Three Godfathers is a Christmas story.
Well, here's the other thing too, and I'm not meaning to get like. I don't expect this to be a realistic portrayal, but like I would feel like if they were trying to be a little more like Westerny, I feel like there would be like a church. You know what I'm saying? And I know what they were doing, trying to avoid that like direct religious link up, but it would definitely feel a little more like Westerny and realistic if at least there was like church bells ringing in a scene or something like that. Would definitely
that makes a lot of sense.
Would make it A, more believable, and B, more Christmassy in like a Western fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Like the Christian element is, or like just the church element in general, is such a big theme in Westerns.
Exactly.
I mean,
and to leave that out, and I realize I know why they did it, but I think it would have been a better production if they had not shied away from that sort of angle. At least in like the imagery, right?
Like I kind of assumed that the final scene takes place in like the town church because it's like the town Christmas pageant.
No, it's in an opera house, my friend. It's
the opera house. Oh, right.
It's labeled as
well,
such.
See, even then, like I just naturally assumed that would have been in a church because I assumed like a Christmas pageant takes place in a church.
Maybe it was one of those things
so to
by
your point,
committee. I don't know. Maybe it got removed. And
probably.
It got turned into an opera house at some point. Anyways, I'd say 0.
Who knows? It's a 0. This is a value neutral Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And now the y-axis. Did we even enjoy Ebenezer? I enjoyed it from like a purely like academic sort of perspective. Like seeing a movie like this like is interesting to me, but I don't know how much I actually enjoyed it.
I agree. It's an oddity. It's a curiosity, I would say, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's not a great film by any stretch. Jack Palance is having fun, I can tell, but I don't know if anybody else is.
Yeah. I think just in terms of like merit and like look at this weird thing, I'd have to go into positive. And Jack Palance is having fun. I think that's worth something, right? And I think the element of like, what if Scrooge, but even more so a Scrooge, is an interesting angle, right?
Right. I mean, remember the last one we watched, the animated musical, where that Scrooge was just kind of gleefully mean to people, and this is like sort of the real world kind of version of that, where he's just a card cheat and a thief and the kind of person who would just shoot you in the back.
Yeah.
So,
which I think is an interesting angle. I would say like a 1.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm going to give this a 1. Like 1 sole point just for the sheer fact that it exists. And it's a great little snapshot in time of like what TV movies looked like in the late 90s. Because that like entire ecosystem does not exist anymore.
No. And nobody's
like
nothing you can point to now is even an analog of that, right?
No, because it
just doesn't exist.
Every streaming service produces their own movies, and they're all mega budget, absolute wafer thin nothings that you forget about in a week. Kind of like these actually. So that's probably the best analog.
Yeah, it's just a higher budget, right?
It's just a bigger budget. Like,
somebody was going to be reading the newspaper or doing a crossword instead of being on their phone. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but like something about this in particular is just fascinating to me because of like sort of the historical TV historical value of it. Like the one review that I found on Letterboxd that it says all of this a lot better than we could. First of all, is from a user named John Frankensteiner, which is genuinely one of the better usernames on the entire internet. But he points to the fact that like this movie came out the year after TNT started doing their 24 Hours of a Christmas Story marathon.
Yeah.
Which is still going today, and this only aired one time. So it's the dividing line of the dividing line of how television changed like within a year. You've got this weird thing that they just don't make anymore versus like, yeah, we'll run A Christmas Story 24 hours and have for the last 30 years because you know what? That's what people want to watch. So for that sort of historical value, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch this.
Look at this weird thing.
Look at this weird thing is all we're saying.
It's the picture of Marge just holding them up. I just think they're neat.
But it's me holding 10 DVDs of TV movies that nobody's ever seen before.
Right, exactly.
Like I've been going to used bookstores and just buying up DVDs because now DVDs are just like 90 cents. Go ahead and grab whatever you want. And I just keep pulling out like stuff from like HBO films or TNT classics, and it's the Jackie Robinson story or the Rat Pack biopic. Just weird things that no one should ever want to watch, but I want to watch them now. I don't know why.
Can I be real with you though?
Yeah.
At least within the purview of this show, I would sooner watch 10 of these than one like by committee second screen Netflix Garbo Fest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To be completely honest with you,
for sure. If we can find more of these, like we would watch them. Like hell, our next episode might be the Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol for all I care, because that's another like weird TV movie from that same era.
I have not seen that,
and apparently that's one of the good ones. I remember being shown that in high school at some point, around Christmas time. So it's out there. We may wind up watching that at some point.
Did you ever in high school? Did you ever watch the Patrick Stewart doing Shakespeare thing?
No.
No? It was like a weird modern
we never did.
set. Oh, okay. Anyways.
No, they never showed us that one.
Okay.
We watched the 1960s Romeo and Juliet that had boobs in it that we had to have like a parent sign off on before we could watch it. That's what we watched.
I remember that. You and I went to the same high school. I think it was probably the same VHS.
It was probably the same copy. Yep.
Everybody
Good
remembers
times.
Romeo and Juliet's boobs day.
We marked it on the calendar.
Oh dear.
Oh god. So yeah, what we're saying is Ebenezer has just scored a 0 +1 on our crankometer. Oops, I guess. And now I have to go and look and see what we rated the last movie we watched, because I also think
it was a 0-1.
No, it was a 1-0.
Okay. Sure.
So, maybe we'll go around the horn and the next one will be a 0 -1. Who knows?
I mean, here's the thing, right? We're already bucking. If this keeps up, I think we're bucking the trend of the last couple years, which was pretty much a positive linear correlation, if I'm not mistaken.
This year's crankometer is going to be the golden spiral, where we just start watching whatever the hell we want.
And it's going to be an asymptote at the end of it. It's just going to be
Basically
a big U-shape. It's going to be a U-shape. It's going to be awesome. We're going to watch the weirdest movies this year. I'm excited.
It's going to be great. So I have homework to do, apparently, because now I have to go and program some really weird shit for this show. I mean, it's our 12th year. We're really digging into the bottom of the barrel now, right?
I really wish we could wipe our memories and watch Rap City Street Kids again, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, that was a magical night. That was such a fun night.
If there's one episode I wish we could have done like in person, all of us in the same room, getting a little tipsy, it would have been Rap City Street Kids.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a good time.
But it was still a magical night, no doubt.
It was. And much like Ebenezer, it was a wild trip through like TV land history that we will never see again.
Yes. There will never, ever be another thing like that. For better or for worse.
Friends, if you're listening to this show and we, for some reason, go on hiatus again for 2 months by complete accident, go and find our Rhapsody Street Kids episode. That's a great episode.
It'll hold you over. Yes.
It'll tide you over. It'll do you good. Friends, thank you for listening to this ridiculous show. I feel like Bradford has one more thing to say. Brad, I am so sorry for cutting you off.
No, I was just going to make another episode recommendation if you wanted to dig into the backlog. Jingle All the Way is a very fun episode.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. We appreciate it.
You know, you're spoiled for choice when it comes to podcasts in the world, and we thank you for listening to our little slice of weirdness here on the internet. If you want to email us anything at all, questions, comments, recommendations, you can do that at xmascreeps@gmail.com. You can find us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, at Christmas Creeps. You can join our Discord channel. That's where most of our conversations take place. We will leave a link to that in our show notes. And if you really would like to help the show out, please consider going to your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple or Spotify or wherever, and just leave us a star rating and a review. Tell people how we're doing, because that gives us some kind of boost. I'm not entirely sure how the algorithm works anymore, but I know it helps. What else? Am I missing anything?
I think you got it all.
Perfect. Well, friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Christmas Creeps. I have been Joseph Wade.
I'm Bradford.
Creep it real, y'all. We'll see you later. Good night.
Good night.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.